Good afternoon to everyone and welcome to the NGLCC's LGBT Sip and Pitch Friday. It's been 3 weeks since our last one, which is entirely too long since we've all been together for this great experience. We are thrilled to have you back with us. Thank you all for sharing your Friday, connecting with your LGBT business community, and being a part of the NGLCC family. I'm NGLCC Senior VP Jonathan Lovitz. It's my pleasure to welcome you and give a few housekeeping reminders that we are streaming live today on Facebook Live, and hello to everyone watching us across the web. Everyone looks great. We are also recording and sharing this on our YouTube page, as well as our post Sip and Pitch announcement blog that we'll have posted later next week. Throughout today's conversation, you can use the chat function to share your comments with our participants, as well as connect with us over Twitter and Facebook using @NGLCC and #LGBTBiz. We'll remind you of that throughout the afternoon, but now it is my pleasure to turn things over to my fabulous co-host, the amazing SVP at NGLCC, Sabrina Kent.
Thank you so much, Jonathan, and good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to your favorite place to be twice monthly on a Friday, NGLCC LGBT Sip and Pitch Fridays. So great to see nearly 60 of you with us here on Zoom and many more on Facebook Live for a fantastic session today, presented by Southern California Edison. Quick reminder, in an effort to be more inclusive, please take the moment to hover over your little icon or your picture on Zoom there. Find the ... in the little blue box and hit rename and add your pronouns in there. You can see a number of us already have those in there as an example, and that way we can make sure that we are addressing you appropriately and creating an environment that is a safe space for all. So before we jump into today's program, it is my pleasure to introduce the wonderful Terrence Frierson, who is head of supplier diversity and development at Southern California Edison and today's presenting partner. Welcome, Terrence.
Thank you, Sabrina, and I appreciate you saying that I'm wonderful. I feel wonderful today. So Southern California Edison, we're pleased to partner with the NGLCC and share their commitment to advance opportunities for LGBT-owned businesses. Our supplier diversity program focuses on three main areas: inclusion, development, and outreach. Our sponsorship of today's Sip and Pitch directly aligns with the development component. EDGE is our supplier development initiative, and it aims to help small and diverse businesses grow their capabilities, build capacity, and to become more competitive in the marketplace. I am excited to have this opportunity to serve as a judge. I am looking forward to the pitches, and I also want to take this opportunity, because safety tops our priority at Edison, to remind everyone, wear your mask. Be safe. Thank you, Sabrina.
Thank you so much, Terrence. And yes, wear your mask. So important. So glad to see so many of you here with us today, newcomers and returners. We are always a fun time here on Sip and Pitch Fridays. As a reminder, as Jonathan said, please use the chat throughout. We will be piping those questions into our judges throughout today's program. And again, please be sure to include your pronouns on your name on Zoom so that we can build an inclusive environment here at NGLCC LGBT Sip and Pitch Fridays. So with that, make sure that you're muted so you can hear all of the amazing things that our presenters have to share with you today, along with our incredible judges. And I'm going to go ahead and introduce to you the folks that are going to give some great insights today. First, we have the wonderful and lovely Lisa Castillo, Senior Manager of Global Supplier Diversity at AT&T. This is Lisa's second time in the house. We're so glad to have her back with us. And of course, you just heard from the wonderful, lovely, amazing Terrence Frierson, Head of Supplier Diversity and Development at SCE, and today's presenting partner for Sip and Pitch. And finally, last but certainly not least, we have the wonderful Lorinda Thomas, Director of Supplier Diversity at ADP in the house. You have some phenomenal judges here today to give some tremendous feedback. So without further ado, we're going to take it away with our first pitch, the amazing Akeem Shannon from Flipstick. Take it away. Oh, wait. I always get ahead of myself. I forget. I know. I always forget the rules because I'm so excited to hear what our businesses have to say. Each contestant is going to have 5 minutes to pitch. There's going to be one presenter from each participating company. Our judges are going to have 10 minutes for feedback and Q&A. And we have the lovely Lauren Schweppe from Team NGLCC here. Lauren, can you say hi to folks?
Hi, everyone.
There we go. There's Lauren. You'll see up in the screen there. She's keeping time for us. She's going to keep us all on track and moving forward for today's program. She also will serve as a visual and auditory aid. Many of you asked in the past, why can't we just, hit a gong or do a ding, ding, ding? Unfortunately, that's not loud enough in this virtual setting to actually have people realize when she is giving those 1 minute and 30-second warnings. So you'll hear her just pipe in 1 minute and 30 seconds when it hits that on the timer. And of course, again, you'll have that visual aid as a timer as well. So again, no presentation, no problem. This is an informal environment. We're here for feedback and collaboration. So we're meeting y'all where you're at in terms of your pitch. This is all about helping you learn and grow. Again, if you're not speaking, please mute your microphone so we can clearly hear what our presenters and judges have to share with us today. And finally, most importantly, we're going to have fun in this amazing judgment-free zone. So thank you, Jonathan, for reminding me about these rules and guidelines. And now, Akeem, I'm going to turn it over to you for Flipstick. Thank you.
Thank you, Sabrina. So my name is Akeem Shannon from St. Louis, Missouri. And you may be asking yourself, well, what is a flipstick? Well, this is flipstick. And today I'm going to show you exactly what it does. So what flipstick is it goes on the back of your phone and it comes in over 70 different designs and colors. And with just a flip, you can slap it down and use it as a kickstand for your phone. So you can watch videos, stream your favorite movies, anytime, anywhere. But where the magic comes is with our synthetic CP technology. This is based off of NASA research into how a gecko sticks to nearly any surface. And you probably figured it out, but that means it lets you stick your phone to nearly any flat surface. And when I say stick, I really, really mean stick. Like this isn't going anywhere until you give it a little twist. With just a twist, you can remove flipstick from your surface without damaging it. But this is just glass. Check out this textured tile here. Flipstick also sticks to this surface with no issue. So you can stream your favorite Netflix in the shower. But it doesn't stop there. Whether you're on the plane and you want to stick it to the back of the seat, or if you're giving it to your kid and you're like, hey, you can stick it to the back of my car seat, but don't mess up my leather, you have nothing to worry about with flipstick. And it's not just for consuming content, but also for creating content. Say you want to create the latest tic-tac craze and you're in the park. Well, stick it to a tree and go ahead and get the latest dance on. But truth be told, the number one question I get is, okay, Akeem, yeah, it may work now, but what about when it gets dirty? It's not going to be stick anymore, right? Well, let's find out. Here I have some really, really nasty lint hair straight from my dryer machine. And as you know, this stuff will ruin absolutely any adhesive. And we're going to just spread it all over there, get it just nice and dirty and hairy. Now, let's see if we can get any sticky action with this on there. Not at all. So the question is, what do you do next? Well, flipstick is washable. So as sticky as it is, when it gets wet, it actually becomes an incredible non-stick surface. So if we take our handy wipe here, we can remove some of this excess lint and hair. Still a little nasty there. But as soon as we start wiping away, give it a little bit of elbow grease, and check that out. It's as clean as it was when we took it out the package. Now, normally this would take about 2 minutes to dry, but I have my handy dandy hair dryer here, so we're gonna go ahead and use a little movie magic. All right, that's looking pretty good to me. So now you see it's completely clean all over again. Now, who thinks it's gonna stick? Raise your hand. All right, I don't have a lot of believers there. But there you go. It sticks just like the day we took it out the package. It's not going anywhere. And that is Flipstick in a nutshell. Like I said, it comes in over 70 different designs and colors, and it's available for only $15. So very inexpensive. But not only that, it can also be customized for businesses. We've even done Flipsticks for people like Sean Diddy Combs, who ordered them and gave them away to all of his fans. So if you're interested and to learn more, we're seeking $100,000 for a 20% stake in our business to help grow
1 minute.
and fund our business. Year to date, we've done, lifetime sales for Flipstick are $110,000. Year to date, we've done about $25,000 after being hit pretty hard by COVID. But we're very excited toward the future and the partnerships that we're building. Any questions?
Wow, Akeem, that was amazing. I love the energy that you bring to any space. And I love the little hair dryer move for sure. That was awesome. Lorinda, let's start with you. Any feedback?
Absolutely. That was wonderful. Thank you. First, I'd like to thank Team NGLCC for giving me the opportunity to be here today and be one of the judges. Akeem, I was just automatically thinking about all the different ways I could use this. And top of mind was when I'm in the kitchen cooking and I have my recipes on my phone, and yet I'm constantly moving back and forth. He's sticking it right there above the stove and helping me as I cook. That was a wonderful presentation. I love the versatility of the product. I love the fact that you do have so many different designs that are kind of, there for everyone, right? So from a kid to an adult, there's different types that are available. I would have loved to hear a little more about what made you start this business. Why was this your passion to start it? And as you were doing the actual demo of it resticking after the lint and dust had gotten on it and you blow dried it, is it reusable 100 times, infinity? Just getting a little more information and feedback on that as well. The other thing I would like to know is, do you have competitors in the market, right? And, what are the competitors doing, what that looks like, and other things as well as, how are you currently selling it? Are you selling it web-based right now? Are you on? Are you in retailers? I do see that you're looking for someone to invest in a stake, so that was great information to give us. Another thing I thought about being with ADP, is this a potential promo item or something that we could brand ADP specific to give to our associates, or even to different vendors or participants at trade shows and things of that nature. So again, love your product, and I think you did a wonderful job presenting it. Thank you.
And thanks for your feedback.
Akeem, feel free to also answer any of that if you like. Otherwise,
I'd love to. So you brought up some great points. So as far as how I came up with the product, I cut it out of this just to crunch the time. So it started at 3 a.m. in the morning. I get a call from my uncle, who's an engineer at NASA, and he's talking to me about this, that, and the other, and he's working on the Space Launch System, which was planned to go to Mars until Elon came in. And essentially he's like, I'm just trying to get these wires going here. I'm gonna use this adhesive. And I'm like, wait, tell me about this again. I'm actually listening now. And when I first heard about these reusable adhesives, I was like, man, I really could have mounted my TV a lot faster if I had this adhesive and not have to drill all those holes. And so that was the first idea that clicked. And while that wasn't really feasible, I knew that I could shrink that down. And I ended up teaching myself how to write a patent, to write my own trademarks. And fast forward a few months, I launched a Kickstarter and we launched everything. You also brought up a great point about how we sell the product. One of the reasons that we have struggled so much during COVID is that over 50% of our business is based in retail. We operate retail kiosks. 30% of our business is based on those promo items that you just talked about. And both of those two sectors have crashed. No one's having events where they need to brand themselves, and no one's going to the malls anymore where we had our kiosks. And so we've had to shift to online, and that's kind of where that discrepancy came from. But we were very successful in our retail operation while we were open, so much so that we got traction and received questions and were asked to come to malls across the country.
Thank you so much for that.
She asked how many times will it restick? So you can actually wash, clean it, and stick it over 1,000 times. So it lasts the average person about a year.
Wow, I need 5 of those. One for me, one for my iPad, one for all my dog things, one for my partner because he leaves things everywhere. It's amazing. Thank you for that. Terrence, anything that you'd like to share?
Oh, muted.
Yeah, okay. Akeem, the first thing I want to know is, can I borrow your hair dryer? As you can see, you know, I got
We're gonna have to get you a wig too.
yes, yes. A great presentation. I echo all the comments of my colleague Lorinda, and I think she covered a lot of the questions that I would have had. I will offer some feedback, and I appreciate her asking you about the journey to getting the flip stick. And so, to the extent that you are doing other presentations or pitches, that incorporate your story into that. I appreciated how you tied it back to family. I appreciate it then further connects to your passion about giving back to community and how that seems to be very important to you. So ways that you can make the product more personal to your story, I think is always great when you're presenting. And it is great. I love that it's very versatile, and you gave a lot of great information. I know Joycelyn Yu from my team is tuning in. So this is something, Joy, that I would like to explore.
Yes, very much so.
That's amazing. And Greg from Team NGLCC just put in the chat that he's just ordered one as well. And that's one of my favorite things about LGBT Sip and Pitch Fridays, because not only are you able to be with amazing companies like Terrence's in Southern California Edison, but you can also get amazing feedback for your product and even new customers. I know that plenty of people ordered 5 North Chocolate when Ben Kennard was on here. And now I think you have a lot of new Flipstick customers as well. So that's awesome to see. Thank you so much. Lisa, anything else you'd like to add?
Hey, Akeem, it's nice to see your face. Akeem and I have been speaking a lot lately, so he's definitely gotten the attention of executives at AT&T. He was at a conference, not that, I guess it was last year, huh, Akeem, that you were at the Revolt conference for AT&T. So the only thing I would do differently, Akeem, is I love that you did the live presentation. I think if you had threaded through some of we worked on a communication deck together. I think the deck, the statistics, the background, a lot of what my peers are saying would have been covered in that story that we helped you develop. So I think a hybrid approach, and I don't know how well it would have worked through Zoom, to be honest with you, but if somehow you could have been doing the demo and at the same time scrolling through your PowerPoint, yeah, then it really would have honed in that point, because it would have covered my peers' comments, I think, and really gave them a background and the show of interest that you've already gained all this attraction from a lot of different groups. Absolutely. And so that would be my only upgrade in what you did today. Otherwise, your personality, you're very likable, Akeem. People gravitate towards you. So you did a great job in just demonstrating the product. So cheers to you.
Thank you. And just to give a quick shout out to Lisa. Lisa has been incredible in helping me. She mentioned a slide deck that she helped me put together for executives at AT&T, and I used it for a large grant program here in St. Louis. So if you don't know Lisa, make sure you reach out to her. She is absolutely an incredible resource. So thank you, Lisa.
You're welcome, Akeem.
She is absolutely dynamic, and that is one of the great things about Sip and Pitch and having Lisa here today, is that she knows the background behind your company and knows how to even take it to the next level. But I gotta say, Akeem, you are better than As Seen on TV and those 3 a.m. infomercials. I don't know how I get stuck on them. I almost never buy anything, but maybe if they hired you, I would. So great job, Akeem. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was just a fantastic way to start the day. So with that, Shannon Epps from Brightwork Consulting, you are up next. Take it away, Shannon.
Welcome, Shannon. You have control of the screen. Take it away.
Good afternoon. That's a tough act to follow. As Sabrina said,
Oops, Shannon, we lost your audio. There
You're
we
back.
go.
There you go.
Okay. I'm Shannon Epps, and I'm the CEO of Brightwork Consulting, and I am here today to talk to you about managing the change to virtual teamwork. We are experiencing change like never before. Before COVID, only about 5% of employees regularly worked from home. And 71% of all employees said they felt unprepared to work from home as much as they are. And only 9% of companies felt that they were prepared for their workforce to go virtual. But now more than half of all companies are saying that they will never make their workforce come into an office again. So how do organizations succeed in the new normal and become more productive, more collaborative, and retain their unique cultures? Now is the time to get modern. To succeed, it's about people, processes, and technologies. At Brightwork, we focus on change management, risk management, project management, IT and business strategies, informed decision-making, and program leadership. We're also
Hey, Shannon.
Yes?
Shannon, I'm so sorry. Lauren, if you could pause the timer really quick. Shannon, I just want to make sure, do you have any slides you want to be sharing with this?
Are you not seeing slides?
We don't see your
yet.
slides. So I just wanted to give you the chance to put those up.
Okay, it says I'm screen sharing here.
No,
I guess not. Okay.
not yet, but we'll go ahead and stop ours just to make sure you can get yours on. There we go.
There we go. There we
Now
go.
you see it? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, Lauren. Give
okay,
Shannon
hold
a
on
few more
one-
seconds to get back into the game before you start the timer again.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, go for it. Thank you so
And
much.
do you see a big blue Microsoft partner slide?
Yeah, we do.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so we are also a Microsoft partner. Imagine a workplace without limits, where your team could collaborate real time on multiple files. They would have the ability to work from anywhere on any device, as I am right now. They would have all files in one easily accessible place, and they could access online meetings at the click of a button from within their workspace. And your IT departments would have simplified device management and security. We want you to leverage what you have. You have Microsoft Office, why not use all of it? With Teams, you can accelerate productivity and collaboration for your teams. Collaborate, meet from anywhere on any device, and quickly call anyone right from your workspace. You can easily keep your team engaged. Furthermore, with Teams, you can automate your complicated workflows, manage your team's tasks and schedules, send reminders using bots, and so much more. At Brightwork, we take the complicated out of the complex. We use proven change management methodologies to help you deploy or mature the use of Teams and other technologies within your workforce. We start with a discovery, an initial learning phase where we dig deep into your teams and workflows. From there, we do an assessment of your people, processes, and technologies. And then we make design decisions that are based on your specific and unique needs. We deploy your solutions using standard project management, software development, and testing practices. We train your team not only on how to use the technology, but how to apply the technology to their specific and unique workflows. All along, we pay deep attention to risks and change management to ensure full adoption by your teams. So we focus on helping you by paying attention to your people, your processes, your technologies using Microsoft Teams. And that's how we spell success. If you're interested in learning more about how you can manage the new normal, improve productivity, enhance collaboration, and maintain and improve your unique culture, contact us for a free workshop today. Thank you.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Shannon. Appreciate that. Glad we were able to get the slides going.
Me
Terrence.
too.
Terrence, you want to start with some feedback?
I was going to say, maybe you can come teach me how to get off of mute. some training there already. Thank you, Shannon. Really good presentation. And you certainly have presented yourself as an expert in this particular space around training in a virtual world. And so I appreciated that. If I offered some feedback around the presentation, one, I would bring into this presentation something that's going to capture them right up front. We are in, what's the sense of urgency right now? So you talked a little bit about where we are with COVID, how everyone is transitioning, and why we need to do that so quickly. And in terms of not wanting it to be too disruptive to our business. As I'm thinking about at Edison, we are having a lot of conversations about transitioning back into work. What is it going to look like for all of the different groups, and maybe sharing some of your thoughts around what that could begin to look like and how this training could be integrated into some of those thought conversations that leaderships around different companies are having. So I would suggest to bring that into your presentation. And then the slide where you're walking through your process, maybe you can, sometimes when there's too much to focus on a page, if you condense and consolidate like your discovery and success, that becomes one, and you're gonna flow through your approach or your methodology a little more swiftly and quicker. That would be my feedback. But overall, great presentation, and I appreciate the information.
Got it. Thank you. Good feedback.
Definitely. We're seeing great comments coming through here. Folks are saying this feedback from your panel is on fire. I'm taking copious notes for when I get to pitch. So that's awesome. Thank you, Terrence. Lisa, anything you'd like to add here?
Yeah, so Shannon, thank you for the presentation. I think for me, you started off really strong. So you identified a current problem and situation, and maybe your deck was identifying that, and you had the numbers. I don't know, because we couldn't see it up front. But what I would like to have seen is that you follow that current state of affairs of what's going on, and then driving the point home how you can help with the transformation process. Okay, so I'm seeing the new normal. So I would have liked to seen it thread through. I would have liked to seen if you had something of a case that you've already done, of a pre-state of where they were at, and then post-state, integrating these tools and integrating your methodology, processes, and procedures to show that you are an expert. Because at the end of the day, we want to see, we're always trying to socialize the best of the best, is what we say. And what we need from you is help to spread that story together, so that you just don't sound like a consulting company, because there's all sorts of consulting companies, all different shapes and sizes. You're showing up as an expert in your field, helping people along with the new norm and the impacts, because the impacts are multifold, right? From the net of it for a lot of the corporations is about cost savings. So, getting, traditional American companies from an archaic state that they feel like they need to have people in the office micromanaging in order for them to be productive. But Shannon, that is not the case. That there's tools out there that monitor, measure, and that you have to educate leaders out in corporate America that the new norm is different. And actually, you could have even threaded it through to the younger generation that I believe fully wants the flexibility to work whenever, however they would want to. So you could even sell it to threading it through from an HR perspective of winning over the hype, the up and coming, folks, young people out there that, are entering or in the workforce, and how this kind of platform would be very appealing to people on so many different levels. You can do internally, operational, and externally from a hiring practice. So there's so many things that I think you could call out and really describe that, and to describe you as an expert and give your new numbers of making those impacts. That would be my only recommendation.
Excellent.
Which probably was a lot. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, that's really good feedback. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much, Lisa, for that feedback. Lorinda, anything you'd like to add?
Okay, unmuted myself. So thank you, Shannon. I really enjoyed your presentation. I definitely agree with Terrence and Lisa. You know, as we think about how the majority of corporations shifted from the start of COVID, I think what really these corporations are going to look at going forward is there a need to have all associates in offices, right? You think about the cost of real estate, leasing buildings, ownership, and all of the costs that factor into that. And so for me, you know, things that you have within your virtual teamwork will be needed more and more, simply because there will be that need for more collaboration. We've all had to reshift, adjust, get used to virtual meetings, Zoom meetings, muting, unmuting. So with that, I also like the fact that your platform is also using what that current corporation may have. In many cases, oh, this isn't working, let's look for something else, right? And we're spending all this money to say, well, Teams isn't working for us, let's move to WebEx or vice versa. Instead, you've come up with a solution that will help based off the actual, actual what we're using in place now. So I truly appreciate that. I would have liked to see a little information about the cost incorporated with your platform and how you're doing this. And again, like Lisa said, you know, how are you setting yourself apart? I often think about this from the standpoint of, you know, attending conferences, trade shows and meetings, or even now virtual events and pitches that we're doing. You will only probably get 3 to 5 minutes to share what information you have about your company, right? And so in those 3 to 5 minutes, you have to impress me, but not only impress me, but make sure that you remind me of who you are in a week when you follow up with an email or a phone call, right? So make sure you have something that really stands out and really represents your company well in what you do. So when I do receive that email, I can say, oh, Shannon, I remember her. I want to follow up with her because I have a buyer within procurement that I can have her connected with, or I could also find a stakeholder directly that I'd want to work with in the case of it being our end-user computing department. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Definitely awesome feedback, Lorinda, Terrence, and Lisa. Shannon, thank you so much. You did a phenomenal job. We so appreciate you being here with us. Jonathan, if you want to take over the screen again, I will go ahead and introduce our third presenter. I think we're trying. Shannon, you might have to cancel your screen share for us.
Yeah, let's see here. There you go.
Thank you. All right, there we go.
There we go.
Our third presenter today is the wonderful Rex Wild from Rex Wild Consulting. Many of you will recognize Rex. They were actually one of our facilitators for the corporate TGNC supply chain inclusion training that we held on June 30th. If you missed that program and you missed the wrap out email, send me a direct message here on chat so you can get a little flavor for Rex in action. But before that, Rex, why don't you take it away and start your presentation?
Awesome, thank you so much. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen.
Great, I'll give you a green light when it's lit, or when it's lit, when it's up. There we go, there we go.
Perfect, are you all seeing it?
We are.
Wonderful. Great. Thank you all so much. My name is Rex Wild. I use they and them pronouns, and I am the founder of Rex Wild Consulting, where we provide expert guidance in transgender inclusion. You know, we are living in a time where workplaces are becoming increasingly conscious of social justice as well as corporate social responsibility. So from addressing racism to the gender pay gap, workplaces are really working to ensure equity at all levels of business. Now, in this conversation of corporate inclusion, transgender individuals have long been misunderstood. Many people thought we either didn't exist or that being transgender was so uncommon that it didn't make sense to really pay attention to transgender inclusion at a holistic level. But the times are certainly changing. Now, just 5 years ago in 2015, studies showed that the estimated population of transgender adults in the US was less than 1%. But more recent research really paints a different picture, because now we know that actually 12% of millennials identify as transgender, non-binary, or as gender non-conforming. A UCLA Williams Institute study from last year showed that up to 27% of youth in California are identified as transgender or as gender non-conforming. And we now know that 56%, over half of Gen Z, know somebody who uses gender neutral pronouns like they and them. Now, as millennials and Gen Z start to make up our workplaces now, we certainly know that they are going to be the ones creating the workplaces of our future. We know that in just 5 years from now, in 2025, that millennials and Gen Z will actually make up 60% of our workplaces. And we know that not only are we seeing a difference in the amount of individuals and employees who are identifying as transgender or as gender diverse, but that we are also seeing non-LGBTQ individuals who are really looking at their workplaces to charge the way for greater transgender inclusion in the workplace. Now, just last month, we saw that the Supreme Court decision, which now provides workplace protections to transgender and gender diverse individuals. And we know that this ruling will certainly lead more individuals to coming out with their authentic gender identity. Now, though most people really want to be inclusive of transgender and gender diverse individuals, many people and companies just don't really know how. And so that's where Rex Wild Consulting comes in. Now, Rex Wild Consulting is an LGBTVE built on over 10 years of experience in the LGBT educational space. As well, our mission is to empower workplaces to create truly transgender inclusive workplace cultures by providing direct guidance and high quality education on gender diversity and inclusion in the workplace through both training workshops as well as direct consulting. I think that making sure that there is a great approach to how we learn about these issues is critically important. And we really believe that most people want to be inclusive of transgender individuals, and that education is really a matter of aligning people's actions along with their values. The way that we do this is through cutting edge research, experiential learning, and personal storytelling, as well as giving direct specific action so that we can leave workplaces empowered with tools to ensure greater transgender inclusion. Now, with COVID-19 and our increasingly virtual world, we know that employees are starving for engagement, for education, and want to find further ways to contribute to social change. And in order to cultivate true inclusion, we know that we have to take a comprehensive approach, not only with training and policies, but ensuring inclusive cultures as well. And so through classroom and virtual trainings, this really gives employees the opportunities at all levels of business, from frontline to C-suite staff,
1 minute.
to learn about the nuances of transgender individuals and provide direct guidance on inclusion at both the personal and organization levels. We also help with corporate policy reviews, assessment, and development, creating transition guidelines, pronoun policies, dress codes, as well as assessing inclusion statements, healthcare benefits, and helping to roll out inclusive HR strategies for any policy rollouts. We also work with employee manager mediation to make sure that individuals have a better understanding of how to work together. And we also provide custom content creation to make sure that marketing and educational strategies are transgender inclusive. Now, these are just some of the things that I've been involved with as an individual in the LGBT business space, but I've also worked with over 200 companies providing training and direct guidance. Please feel free to ask me about our virtual training solutions, organizational assessments, as well as pronoun policy rollouts. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Nicely done, Rex. And I gotta say, if you go back to the clients page, NGLCC is one of the newest clients of Rex's. Rex actually teamed up with another one of our LGBTVEs, Transformation Journeys Worldwide, and they presented internal trans inclusion trainings for our team at NGLCC, which were phenomenal. So talking about that custom creation and that virtual training, it was amazing. You knocked it out of the park and our team was just blown away. So thank you so much for that awesome presentation, Rex. And you are incredibly humble because I believe you also organized one of the largest TGNC career fairs in the world, which is a pretty amazing thing to stick in your hat there. So I gotta say, thanks for sharing a little bit of your light with us today. And Lisa, why don't you start? Any comments for Rex?
Hi, Rex. Thanks for the presentation. I think you did a very nice job. I really did like the presentation in and of itself and how you walked us through it. So I'll go back what I think is just kind of missing for me personally, and it goes back to kind of those examples, maybe more statistics, impacts, taking maybe a scenario, especially because you have a lot of customers. So thinking about some of your big customers, why they hired you, or an example of why they hired you, their pre-state and then their post-state, and the net impacts of what resulted as a result of hiring you. I think that would be the only element that I would have really liked to see after everything that you talked about and why it's important and the statistics that are out there. That would have really been the nice bow on the whole presentation for me. But other than that, great job.
Great, thank you, Lisa. Yeah, I appreciate that. And I really wanted to find time to tie that in, especially when I'm talking about the companies that I have worked with. And I think, you know, it's funny because in timing all of this, I had included one case study, and then just as the clock ticked, it ended up taking me longer this round. So I appreciate that. And I think I'll work to prioritize that as I pitch this further.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lisa. Lorinda, anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, so thank you, Rex. I loved your presentation. I think from the start, I love the fact that you started with stats and statistics, and that kind of drew me in, right? And then it kind of led into your mission statement, the why. Why are you actually doing this? I think about conversations that I've sat in on with my D&I team as we discuss pronouns, for instance, right? And the appropriate way to go about having these conversations, having trainings around that, and questions to even if we can add our pronouns to our signatures, right? That's come up as well. That's a topic of discussion within ADP right now. So I also love the fact that you already are thinking about the world we live in right now as far as COVID and having options of an online or virtual training versus in classroom, you know, on-site setting. So that's also great in this sense. And again, kind of like what Lisa said, I'd like to hear a little bit more about, you know, why maybe some other corporations have brought you into to have these conversations, do these trainings, and what was the outcome of those, and how was it, you know, basically accepted into their organizations and corporations. But overall, wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Lorinda.
Rex, do you want to add anything to that about why a lot of companies bring you in and what the outcomes may be?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, especially since both Lorinda and Lisa have asked this question, that'd be great. You know, so one of the most recent companies that I'm working with right now is Sweet Green. And essentially, actually, it sounds like they had a similar conversation that may be happening at ADP, where they really wanted to roll out a pronoun policy in their email signatures, but they wanted to make sure that, one, it wasn't just something that was cosmetic that they were doing, and that there was actual learning and understanding around why that was even important in the first place. So people weren't doing it out of context without any type of education. And so what they ended up doing is they brought me in and said, hey, this is what our goal is. How do we get there? And so through an organizational assessment and having a better understanding of, you know, what are your current policies, what are your current educational initiatives, and where are the gaps? That's where we were able to realize, well, there really isn't an educational initiative that they've ever had around transgender inclusion. And so really the first step for us before having them roll out a pronoun policy was actually kind of closing that gap between the educational component and providing education. And so what we were able to do with them is do a week-long training where we did one general webinar that was open to all staff. that was also something that they were able to license. So they now have that available in their educational internal materials so that folks can watch it even past this point. But then we did 4 deeper dive sessions with each of their identified departments, so HR, marketing, so that they could actually create action plans in those departments for how they can continue trans inclusion initiatives past the point of training. From there, we came up with their pronoun policy kind of rollout structure, as well as gave people, direct learning elements. So not only having, pronouns allowed to be in email signatures, but also how can we expand past this point and include an educational component as a link in the email signature as well. So we were able to create content for that in order for them to roll that out. And so now the pronoun policy we're actually rolling out next week at the end of the completed trainings that we're finishing next week. And so that is one of the things that they are now working on so that they can have just a greater understanding and education around what they are doing at a policy level.
That's excellent. Thank you so much, Rex, for that. I appreciate it. Terrence, anything you want to add? I know it's hard to keep you quiet.
Are you telling me you want me to be quiet?
Never.
No, I'm just kidding. Rex, really, really good presentation, and I echo many of the comments of my colleagues here. Certainly did appreciate that you. I appreciate storytelling, and then how you integrated the statistics in there. And I was listening to you say you were trying to think about, well, I had a slide, how do I get this in there? And so then that started running through my head in terms of some opportunities to kind of make it all flow together. And I think sometimes asking the audience some questions to get them thinking. Like what's that question? Like, what do you know about your current and your future workforce and what they need or want? And it leads you into maybe giving that example. One of my clients was asking the same questions, and here is how we help them. And so now you're taking us on the journey, but you're integrating all of those things in there together. And sometimes it's about the decisions around what to put in, what can happen in the follow-up conversation. I often say what's your purpose? What's the objective? Or is this the initial conversation to continue the conversation? What are you really trying to achieve? And maybe the approach can be talked about in the follow-up conversation, but then you're highlighting some of the other services and those things that then become the teaser to then continue the conversation. But really great presentation. You certainly know your space, and I appreciated what you shared here today.
Great. Thank you, Terrence. I appreciate that. Yeah. And that helps me have a better idea on how to prioritize those things. So I'll definitely be taking that away.
Thank you, Terrence, for that as well. Rex, we do have a question from Casey Oaks in the chat. Casey's asking, how do companies contract with you? Is it a billable hours model, or are there fat? You guys, I am just not with it today. I'm so sorry. Is it a billable hours model, or are there flat fees for delivery of something like a pronoun policy?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question, actually. And there is a couple of different ways depending on the work that we would be doing together. So typically a training, for example, or if people are just looking to get a template for policies, those are more at a flat fee basis. But more often I see a billable hours model with folks that are doing some type of integrated thing, pronoun policies and things like that. Since they often want to do other components around it. So it really would just depend on exactly what folks are looking to do and exactly, what the outcomes they're looking for are. But it may be one or the other depending on what is actually being asked for.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Rex. Great job and fantastic presentation. You are our final presenter of round one, so thanks for closing out our first hour of the show. Yes, applause, applause, applause. Before we jump into a little break, judges, any thoughts as we reflect back on this first round of companies? Any takeaways for you or anything that jumps to mind? Feel free to just jump in.
Well, you know, this is my first sip and pitch, and I am really, really, really enjoying it, and looking forward to round two. And so I just really want to say thank you again to each of the presenters. Really good job, and thanks again to the NGLCC for providing this amazing platform for us to have access and visibility to LGBT-owned firms. Thank you.
Thank you, Terrence, and thanks to SCE for being today's partner and presenting this with us. Lorinda, Lisa?
Yeah, I would just say I agree 100% with Terrence. The presentations were great. I see where there could be a fit within my own internal corporation as far as bringing some of these things back to our internal businesses. And like Terrence said, this is my first in-person live pitch and sip or sip and pitch. I have gone back and watched a few of them, and all of them have really been phenomenal. And I truly love the fact that we all work together as a community and we're able to offer our support and also our guidance to help grow these companies as they continue on their next steps as companies.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that feedback, and thanks for being here with us. Lisa, what about you? I know you got something to say.
I normally do. I know, Sabrina. I know. I think everyone did a really wonderful job today. I really didn't have a whole lot to have to add, or, you know, it didn't, you know, none of the presentations left me like, oh gosh, they need a lot of help. No, they already showed up, did a great job. I think it's just a little bit more tweaking, always just keeping an eye on the ball of corporate language. I think if that's anything I can impart to all of you, there's key terms that universally corporations speak, you know, at executive levels, you know, return on investment, KPIs, best in class, innovation, proprietary, and numbers. These, you know, so, and we're in an environment now more than ever that there's just so much communication going on. So being laser focused and very succinct will help you along in no matter which interaction that you know, are encountered with. So great job, everyone. I appreciate everyone's time today.
Love that advice. And speaking the language is so important. I love that that's your big takeaway for this first round, Lisa. So thank you so much for that. To our presenters from round one, Flipstick, Brightwork Consulting, and Rex Wild Consulting, thank you so much for being the ones to kick off today's show. Thank you again to Southern California Edison, today's presenting partner. Terrence, Lorinda, Lisa, we're going to see you all back for round two in just a few minutes. We're going to give you all a quick break. We'll see you back shortly around 4 Eastern. Thanks, everybody.
Good afternoon and welcome back to round 2 of NGLCC's LGBT Sip and Pitch Friday. A couple of quick reminders for new folks who are joining us today that we are recording and streaming on Facebook Live. Welcome all of your comments in the chat section, and if you have any questions throughout today's experience, reach out to us at education@nglcc.org. Pleased to welcome back our fabulous host for the day, NGLCC Senior Vice President, Sabrina Kent.
Thank you so much, Jonathan. Welcome to those of you who just joined NGLCC LGBT Sip and Pitch Fridays, and welcome back to those of you who've been with us since round 1. Before I jump in and reintroduce you to today's judges, and this time actually remember to go through the rules and guidelines, I'm going to turn it to the wonderful Terrence Frierson, Head of Supplier Diversity and Development at Southern California Edison, which is today's presenting partner. Hi, Terrence.
Hi, Sabrina. Thank you. I am like truly enjoying the sip and pitch. As I said, this is my first one, and it has just been amazing. Round 1 was good, and looking forward to round 2. Southern California Edison, we are pleased to partner with the NGLCC, and we share their commitment to advance opportunities for LGBT-owned firms. And our sponsorship today of the sip and pitch aligns very directly with an important part of our program, which is supplier development. And EDGE is our supplier development initiative, and it aims to help small and diverse businesses grow their capacity or grow their capabilities, build capacity, and to become more competitive in the marketplace. And so I'm really excited about round two. I appreciate this opportunity to be a judge. And if you just joined us, again, I want to remind everybody, because safety tops our priority at Southern California Edison, wear your mask. Thanks, Sabrina.
Absolutely. Wear those masks. I'm in Florida right now and it's getting worse and worse, and I'm seeing less and less people without masks, which is an interesting crux given where the charts are going right now. So thank you for that welcome, Terrence, and thank you for that reminder. Terrence is one of our judges today, joined by two other wonderful, amazing folks who've been with us since round one. Lisa's actually been with us back since May for a previous Sip and Pitch session. Lisa Castillo is the Senior Manager of Global Supplier Diversity at AT&T, and Lauren DeThomas is Director of Supplier Diversity at ADP. We are so glad to have all three of you here with us for another amazing Sip and Pitch Fridays program. So with that, I'm going to jump in to the rules and guidelines for today's program. First and foremost, our companies are going to have 5 minutes for their presentation. They will have one representative from their company as they're sharing their presentation and some amazing facts and info about their company as they start their pitch. Jonathan, if you could flip the slide so everyone else can see these rules and guidelines, I would appreciate it. Thank you so much. Jonathan is working so many things behind the scenes. I don't know how he does it all, quite frankly. Our judges are gonna have 10 minutes for feedback and Q&A, and the amazing Lauren Schweppe, are you there, Lauren?
Hi, everyone.
Lauren from Team NGLCC is managing our timer as a visual aid. She's also going to give verbal cues at 1 minute and 30 seconds. Please don't get mad at Lauren if she interrupts you. She's just doing her job. We can't do a little gong or ding, 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 because that wouldn't be loud enough for y'all to hear. So she's going to give a verbal warning again at 1 minute and 30 seconds so our presenters know how much time they have to finish their pitch. Remember, this is a judgment-free zone, no presentation, no problem. We're here to give real-time feedback to help our companies learn, grow, and succeed. And then finally, most importantly, for NGLCC LGBT Sip and Pitch Fridays, have fun. So with that, we're gonna turn it over to our first presenter. When you start sharing your screen and actually jump into your presentation, that's when Lauren is gonna start the timer. So with that, take it away, Pilot House Communication.
Good afternoon, everyone. Jessica Riley here. There are no presentations. There's just me live. You get to listen to me.
We love it. We love it.
Okay, so that's my best feature, is just talking. So we're going to go with that. I am Jessica Riley. I'm the CEO and founder of Pilot House Communications. We were started in 2004 and we're located in the great state of Connecticut. I am a technology expert. I work with businesses and their IT managers who want more control over their businesses and want to manage costs and increase their revenues. Pilot House works with businesses from many different vertical markets and different sizes. Whether your company has 4 employees or 4,000 employees, we can help. Whether you have 1 location or 50 locations, we can help. And we have resources across the country and beyond to help you with those needs. Our primary products to accomplish this include cloud-based business communication systems and cloud-based data and security solutions. 3 main things we focus on when looking at designing a new communication system for a customer. First is mobility. Have you ever been on a call and you're on your desk phone and you look down at your watch and you realize you gotta go? You're supposed to be somewhere else really, really soon. And you gotta continue the call you're on. Now what are you gonna do? You're gonna put them on hold and transfer the call to your cell phone? Wouldn't it be a heck of a lot nicer if you could just push a button and now the call is magically over on your cell phone and you could just carry on and make that customer feel like you're taking good care of them? We can help you with that. Connectivity. You need to call your customer. You're going to look them up in your Outlook, in your CRM, and then you're going to reach over to your telephone and you're going to dial their number. This is not a very efficient way to getting this done. Wouldn't it be much easier if you could just click the button that's in Outlook or probably in your CRM that says dial, and now the phone on your desk is just ringing the number that you need to call? We can help with this too. So the third thing is visibility. You're on the phone with a customer, and they're looking to see if you have a widget you sell available. They want it tomorrow. And your coworker, Joe knows whether or not you have this thing in stock and whether or not we can ship it out. So what are you going to do? You're going to take your phone, you're going to put this customer on hold, and then you're going to dial Joe's phone, see if Joe is actually there. And if Joe is there, then you could ask Joe, hey, do we got this thing? Can we ship it out? Wouldn't it be a lot easier if you had software sitting on your desktop and you could look at that software while still on your phone call, know that Joe is at his desk, chat with Joe on your computer and say, Joe, do we got the stuff? And answer this customer's question without interrupting your phone call. These are just 3 areas that we like to focus on. There are plenty of other areas and features that are very important, but these 3 are key. Every business eventually will need to get a new phone system. And they need that in order to support their employees and their customers. Why? Productivity losses due to poor communication cost U.S. businesses every year $550 billion that I've learned from reading a report that was published by Gallup. That's a lot of money. So efficiency is important, and newer tools can make your business more efficient. The other areas that we focus on are data and security using cloud-based services. The days of the traditional server in the back room
1 minute.
to maintain that, wow, this is going fast, are past. For many businesses, the IT guy is cousin Tim, who does this part-time. And it's much more efficient to move these things into the cloud and let cousin Tim stick to plumbing. Traditional PCs are being replaced with terminals that can easily be swapped out and do not require skilled help on site.
30 seconds.
Oh my. So I'm going to just jump and say there's a huge focus in business today on CX and EX, customer experience and employee experience. These technologies that I've spoken about can help you with those areas. If you have any needs in these improvements in these areas, Pilot House can help you. Again, Jessica Riley, Pilot House Communications.
Thank you so much, Jessica. I know that time really does fly by quickly. And it sounds like you're somebody that's needed in many different spaces right now. I hear that phone ringing. So Terrence, why don't you start? Any feedback that you've got for Jessica?
Thank you, Jessica. I appreciate the presentation. Some of my feedback, at first I wasn't totally sure what Pilot House Communications did until you got further along into your presentation. So if that could be clear up front. The other thing I appreciate that you had some stats. I might even suggest bringing that stat up front around how much money is being spent, because I think that could be a point that may capture the attention of the audience that you are presenting to. And I really, really appreciated your examples when you walk through the different scenarios and talk to and kind of putting that up front too, like almost in a seamless order, and then talking about how what I walked away was Pilot House can bring us one-touch or efficient solutions. And then talking about what those different streams, work streams, in terms of the solutions could look like, or solution streams could look like. But I really appreciated the presentation. I would clarify the point of who Pilot House is more upfront.
Okay, thank you very much. I do appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yes, great feedback, Terrence. Thank you. Lisa, anything you'd like to add?
Hi, Jessica. Thanks for the presentation. I guess I would want to start off by just asking you a couple questions. How long have you been in business now?
I started this company in 2004. So this company I've had since 16 plus years now. And I've been in the industry, I don't know if I want to admit this, since 1982.
Well, thank you. And is your target market right now like the small and medium-sized business, or who are your clients at this time?
Well,
generally speaking.
Generally speaking, we probably do best somewhere between 50 and 500.
Okay. And the reason I was asking those questions because clearly you're an expert in what you do. You have products and tools available that I can imagine it, the small, medium businesses are just not aware. They don't have staff. They need help from folks like you.
Absolutely.
If you want to start pivoting to the corporate market, I would highly encourage you that you would, do so much better creating a formal presentation to help you get to the highlights of threading your story together. You had a lot of different things that you were saying, but because we didn't have anything in the background, just kind of follow along the story, your strengths, your solutions, the impacts, pre-state, post-state. That helps with conversations like, when you're dealing with a mega corporation, any Fortune 100 operation, you're gonna have to get through a lot of different layers of the gatekeepers. Like, I'm a gatekeeper. There's a lot of gatekeepers along the road till you get to someone who is in your industry that really understands it. So, if you choose to go down the path and really trying to find those corporate contracts, it will serve you immensely to really hone in that presentation and have something on paper so that it's a leave behind, it's high level, but it demonstrates the value that you bring to this space. And it clearly, you've been doing it forever, so I'm sure the trends, what's going on in the market, and you just be able to so that people, because they're visual, and so you'd like to have something in the background in order to support what you're saying. So otherwise, great job. Congratulations, Jessica.
Thank you very much, and great points. Thank you.
Yeah, Lisa, that's a great point. And something else that somebody shared in the chat with me directly, and this is for anyone thinking of pitching or anyone who has pitched already, which is, when you have a script, try and make it a little more conversational too, because as Lisa said, your stuff, you're great at this, you do this every single day. So make it feel like you're having a conversation with the audience, which I know isn't as fun or easy as when we're in person. But thank you for that feedback, Lisa. Lorinda, anything you'd like to add to close out Jessica's session?
Yes, absolutely. So thank you, Jessica. As you were giving your different scenarios, I started laughing to myself because I don't know how many days I'm sitting in the office and it's 5:15 and I look at the phone and I'm saying, I shouldn't pick that up. But someone says, oh, I need 10 minutes, knowing that I need to leave by 5:30 to pick up my kids from aftercare, 2 different stops, or I'm going to be charged a bunch of crazy fees. And it's 5:40 now and the call or the conversation is still going on, right? So I love your solution. Lisa actually asked one of the questions that I was going to ask you about the target. And now that I do see that as small to medium business, I did have a question since you have been in this industry since 1982. My question is, in 2004, what made you decide to start your own business and venture out from probably, doing this in corporate America or whatever other setting?
I actually started as a technician back in the early 80s. And when I got into it, I did it for several years. And then actually one of the customers for my boss came to me and said, you should be doing this for yourself. You know this better than everybody. So he actually set me up and I started a company. That was my first company. This is actually my second. So I started a company with a partner and grew that from 2 people up to 17 in the course of about 7 years. Then I sold it to my partner, went back out and started working for several other people. And after a couple of years, I got frustrated working for them and said, I'm doing this better than they can. I have done it already. I'm going back to running my own show. Perfect. And so I started this company and I've been here ever since.
Wonderful. And what is your reach right now? Are you more regional? Or are you national?
I'm actually national.
Good.
I have customers that have locations all over the state of all over the states in the United States. I actually even have a manufacturing company that has sites in Mexico and France. There's a large nationwide, you guys know Bassett Furniture. I'm sure you've heard of them.
Yes.
I help them with their phones all over the country using partners everywhere. So I have a full reach pretty much anywhere anybody needs anything. So I have quite a big network because of all the places we've already had to do business. So we've made partnerships across the country and can help pretty much anywhere.
Great, wonderful. Yes, Jessica, again, phenomenal job. I love it. I would agree with Lisa again and having that presentation as you look to grow your business and not only for large corporations, but going into those small to medium-sized businesses as well. I think having those statistics around, how impactful this is would really help. So wonderful job. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Greatly appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Lorinda, for that feedback. And Terrence says here in the chat, great story, Jessica, share it. Bring that into your presentation. Love that. That personal hook will really bring anyone in to listen and hear everything you have to say. So great job. Thank you so much for bringing your energy and enthusiasm to today's presentation. It was so evident. We were so glad to have you in the mix today.
I was really glad to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So with that, I'm going to welcome our second presenter for round 2 today, Norel Mancuso of Social House. Take it away.
Hi. Can everybody hear me okay?
We can. Are you sharing screen with us today?
I'm just about to. Wanted to test sound, and I think I'm ready to go.
Great. We'll let you know when it's up.
All right.
Bam.
There we go.
Can you guys see? Hold on one second. Excuse me for a second, everyone. I want to get the right share screen on here.
Sure, no problem.
All right. I'm ready to rock and roll.
We can see you and we can hear you. Take it away.
What filter should I post with my pic? Oh no, oh dear, I think they broke up. He actually just unfollowed her on Instagram. Can you believe it? Let's do the stair shuffle dance, that challenge. We'll bring in grandma on TikTok. It'll be fine. She can do it. Oh my gosh, Harry Styles just went live, you guys. Harry Styles is live. I added a countdown sticker and a GIF to my story on Instagram. Did you see it? Now, if I said these statements to you 10 years ago, I might be in some sort of mental facility. But the fact of the matter is that these are statements that are in our daily semantics. And your consumers are using them on the daily basis. Hello, my name is Norel Mancuso, and I'm the president and CEO of Social House, Inc. It's a pleasure to meet everybody today. We are a proud NGLCC certified business, as well as a WBE and MBE certified business as well. We're very happy to be here today. I'd like to walk you through Social House, Inc. So Social House, Inc. is a strategic marketing group. And one of the things is that, some people use the word social media. We think the word social media is somewhat passé. Everything's about social and everything's about media. But what we really do at Social House that's different is that we create cultural dialogue. And we do this via transformational strategies, including creative content strategies, influencer strategies, and paid media placements. And we do this in a meaningful way. We were founded in 2010 by my business partner, Bree Hardaway, and I was driving across the country. I had just quit my job at a major beauty company. I was a director of global new product development, and I just saw this dire need for brands to connect with their consumers in a meaningful way. So we created the Tri-Vision approach. And before we get into the Tri-Vision approach, I'd like to just show you a couple of the clients that we've worked with. These are some of our featured clients. We've worked with everybody from PepsiCo on the global beverage group side, to Schwarzkopf Professional, to Revlon, to Harry Winston, Sonos, and the like. But we really primarily specialize in lifestyle brands, or brands that want to bring a lifestyle and cultural dialogue to life. So some facts, some statistics, and I think that those are always important. There's currently 26 million businesses on Instagram alone. 26 million businesses, my goodness, that's a lot of businesses all vying for a share of feed. And 2.6 million of them are actively advertising. So you could imagine that it's a very crowded space. So because social media is so pay to play, and there's only 6% of your audience will ever see the content that you repost organically, we created a specific methodology, which I mentioned, called the Tri-Vision approach. And the Tri-Vision approach really connects 3 core competencies: content creation, influencer management, and paid media placements to bring the path forward. Some agencies see these different kind of tactical strategies as swim lanes. We see them as an ecosystem, because without creative content, you can't have strong paid media. And without influencers spreading the word, you can't get the analytics you need. And if you don't have whitelisting management or whitelisting opportunities with influencers, which means you can repost their content on your social feeds through ads, then you're not really using paid media placements quite effectively. So in order to pose the path forward, we use our Tri-Vision approach. And it's a very important approach, and the results that we've been able to get for our clients have been, very substantial in that regard. And I'd like to talk a little bit about those a little bit more. So content creation. A lot of our clients come to us and they say, Social House, what's the content gonna look like? But at Social House, what we say is, well, first thing we need to answer is, what is the strategy? Whether we're working on a global campaign for a Fortune 50 company or working with a small startup, we make sure that we understand the strategy first, the content creation, influencer marketing, and paid media placement strategy second.
1 minute.
Thank you. So as you can see, we have 3 different approaches here: content creation, influencer marketing, and paid media placements. And our team, I want to talk to you about our team, is that we bring a diverse perspective. As I mentioned, WBE, MBE, and NGLCC certified company. We're about as diverse as they get. And in order to pave a path forward and bring diversity to your brand, it's very important that our team of people from all different types of backgrounds bring that knowledge and expertise to our clients. So I'd like to take a moment to thank you so much for your time in this intro on Social House Inc., who is a strategic marketing group, as I mentioned. And please visit us for more information at www.socialhouseinc, that's INC.com. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Norelle, and we'll post that link in the chat momentarily. Lisa, you want to start off? Any feedback for Norelle?
Thanks, Norelle. I really, your presentation in and of itself, I'm always looking not only what's within it, but just how aesthetically it looks. And aesthetically, it's absolutely gorgeous. So great job on that. And you had really strong information of how I love you showed your brand, that you have this specialty in your methodology that really, it gives you your competitive advantage. Again, this would be, I've said it before, is I'm looking for impact. So I'm looking for those net changes. What was the before state and the after state as a result of hiring your organization. And I think once you add that element, Norelle, you'll knock it out of the park, because everything else, the way you tell the story, you thread it together, why it's important, what the current state of affairs are in this world, and how people are trying to get attention with all the different platforms that are available, and how you synthesize it together and actually are making a difference in making net changes. And so again, if you add that element, no doubt that you'll garner the attention of a lot of different organizations. So thank you.
Thank you so much. That means a lot coming from you. I sincerely appreciate that. And Social House is, we're a boutique agency by design. We want to bring those culturally impactful relationships to life for our clients. And one of the things that we're so grateful for this opportunity to the NGLCC for is that we've never really pitched before. What I mean by that is we've pitched, but we've never gone out and tried to sell and done a lot of things like that. Mainly everything's word of mouth RFPs. So this is a new time for us, obviously, in COVID, and we have an incredible amount of talent. We're just trying to get our name out there more and share our expertise with the world. So I appreciate that. And I do, in this presentation, normally have multiple case studies that we go through, from PepsiCo to Frito-Lay to Harry Winston, Sonos, et cetera. But just due to the time, I cut those out. But I definitely think that the case studies are impactful as well. So thank you for that feedback, Lisa.
I think you could do in numbers. So, my recommendation always for folks is 7 pages or less for any kind of presentation. And so you can still talk about who you are and the value that you bring and the impact in a merit-driven fashion within a short presentation. I think you're there. So remember, you know, everyone's time is limited. You're competing on so many different levels. So have the short version. If you want to do longer versions with additional case studies, et cetera, just do it in an appendix.
Got it. So you're saying
That's like,
oh, sorry, Lisa, just a clarifying question. So you said usually
yes.
7 pages or less feels good to you. And
Yes.
to paraphrase, you also said to include just high level numbers of like what the impact was on just one slide. It doesn't need to be a full case study for this.
That's right.
Understood.
That's right. Remember, best in class, return on investment, innovation, you know, et cetera, you know, you want to capture why you, and you can do that through the numbers. And you have, and just your logos in and of itself is very impressive of all your different clients. So.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. I mean, we just brought one client from 25,000 to 2.6 million in terms of followers in 2 years. So we have some great numbers.
And so with that example, do it as a percentage, because the percentage will be exponential and it will sound even better. So play with it.
Percentage. Noted. That's great feedback. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
That's great. Thank you so much for that feedback, Lisa. I really appreciate it. And Norel, inquiring minds in the chat want to know, where did you get those glasses?
Oh, you know, I love these glasses. Can you guys see that there's like a blue tint?
We can.
Okay, so they are a brand called Jacques Marimage, and they're one of these, they're a brand that we just absolutely love. And it's Jacques, like Jacques Cousteau, Marie, M-A-R-I-E, Mage, M-A-G-E. And they make custom Japanese made glasses. They're made in Japan, but there's only like 250 in the world. So this is number 75 out of 250. So there's different things.
Wow.
I love these. I got these in Paris, but I found out they're an LA brand, and I was like, oh, I thought I was special, but I guess not so much.
Well, you know, boutique eyewear for your boutique firm. I love it. Amazing.
Right.
Lorinda, pardon?
Our look.
Yeah, that's right. You got to bring it all together. I love it. Lorinda, anything you want to add for Norel?
Sure, Norel, thank you for your presentation. I loved it from the jump. Super engaging, bringing us in just with the start and you know, kind of drawing us in and getting us to really, you know, focus in on what you were presenting. I love the visuals. Your presentation looks amazing. I particularly like that tri-vision approach. That was a great visual, and I might steal it. I'm just telling you that now. So wonderful that you use that. I would agree with Lisa, kind of bringing examples of what you've done for previous companies. So again, you can show what those net changes were, you know, in future presentations when you reach out to different companies or individuals. And the other thing I really like is that you showed us what your team structure looked at. I am one of those people who, you know, kind of troll companies' websites to truly see how diverse the workforce is, right? The owner may be diverse, but I want to make sure your workforce is diverse as well. So I appreciate that you did provide that guidance and that information, because that is something that I also look for. But phenomenal job, and thank you again, Norel.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Thank you so much. Yeah, the team is incredible. So much knowledge and so much diverse background.
Yes.
And I'll let them know you said that. That's great. That's
Yes.
great.
And it truly makes a difference.
I agree.
Thanks
Thank
for that
you.
great feedback. I really appreciate it, Lorinda, and I know that Norel does too. Terrence, anything that you'd like to add here?
I'm trying to come off mute again. I will echo all the comments of my colleague, and I will tell you, you and your presentation fit so nicely together. Like it just all goes together. And so great job. And rarely, sometimes you see that where you have this person presenting before you, and then there's the work but they both just nicely come together. So really good job with that. I really liked your lead in with the examples. And since we were talking about time though, I would tell you maybe less of those lead-in points will give you time in other parts of your presentation. But it was just very natural. I really appreciated that. I do love the glasses, you know, and just, it was really good. So
Thank
congratulations.
you. Thank you. That was so much fun, you guys. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. And thank you for your feedback, Terrence.
Thank you for being here with us. And I know Terrence, like the person who likes your glasses in my chat that will remain anonymous, they both have an appreciation for good aesthetics. So you did a job well done on the presentation and the frames. So thank you so much, Noral, for being with us.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate your time.
Of course. We are going to turn it to our third contestant, our final contestant and presenter for today's session. Before we jump in, just a reminder, Lauren Schweppe from Team NGLCC. Lauren, are you there?
Hi, everyone.
Lauren is our visual timer. She will give verbal cues at 1 minute and 30 seconds, as our presenter has 3 minutes for their presentation. So with that, I'm going to turn it to Michaela Mack from All Creation. Take it away, Michaela.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for having me. My apologies, I am actually on Pacific time and missed the part of Eastern time, so I really appreciate your patience.
We're glad you're here.
Thank you. So I too have a PowerPoint presentation, and of which I was going to practice getting it together beforehand. So if you give me one moment, I'm going to work to figure this out.
You got it. We'll wait for that share screen and we'll let you know when we can see it.
Thank you. Okay. Can everyone see?
Not yet. Go ahead and share screen on your end.
Do you see the share screen icon here?
I do.
Okay, yeah, try it through there and let's see if we can get it through. And Deborah says your smiles won us over already, so there you go.
Thank you for the encouragement.
Of course.
There we go.
All right. Yeah, now we can see it. Perfect.
Okay. So I will begin my presentation. Hello, everyone. My name is Michaela Mack. I will be presenting a PowerPoint presentation about All Creation, the early education preschool program that is in the midst of development. After 10 years of teaching, I decided to embark upon the journey of developing a preschool program that would be suitable and equitable to all who are involved in the community within the Santa Clara County community and San Jose area here in California. Apologies, I'm still navigating the, there we go. And what differentiates All Creation from other preschool programs is that the classroom structure will allow for children to openly engage and explore the environment within their own pace, within their own interests, without forcing them, but of course encouraging them to engage with other students as well as in classroom interactions. So as I mentioned, I have worked in the field of early child education for over 10 years. I was formerly a preschool teacher and became a director. And for the past year now, I have worked full-time in establishing this preschool program. And I am active in the community. As you can see, I am cisgendered, African-American, Christian, pansexual, and really representative of a lot of the students and families in the community that I serve. So All Creation is a registered sole proprietorship. This type of program is beneficial to the community, which is often stipulated that nonprofit organizations are the best fit. But oftentimes with nonprofits, there are government mandated requirements that makes it difficult for programs to keep up, as well as to accommodate the needs of the children and families within the community. Within a sole proprietorship, the investment, the return would be invested directly back into the program. So it would allow for things like mental health awareness. It would allow for a stronger curriculum and school supplies to be regularly replenished, which is something that oftentimes in nonprofit organizations, we're scrambling to raise money, raise fund for these items. And I am currently working with a minority business development agency. I've been on this journey, like I said, for about a year, and I have a business plan and projected budget for the first year. And with the community advantages of all creation, as mentioned, we will be working with mental health agencies and promoting wellness and nutrition and offering advocacy for those who are differently abled and have individual needs, and also bringing awareness to the LGBTQI community, as there's not much information, not much involvement within the rest of the community towards this population. So in addition to offering mental health information and nutritional information and support to families who are also struggling or need support with
30 seconds.
We also promote education and the continuing education for our staff as well as our students. So there are different scholarship opportunities that All Creation will provide for both. So here's a slide of the profit margin, the projected profit margin of All Creation, as well as the investment cycle. And this is the conclusion of my presentation. I appreciate you listening. My contact information is listed towards the right if anyone would like to connect. And I appreciate this opportunity to speak with you all.
Michaela, thank you so much for that presentation. And I love the inclusive nature that you're approaching early childhood education with. It's truly phenomenal. So thank you so much for being here to share that with our group today. Terrence, you want to start? Any feedback you've got from Michaela?
Thank you, Michaela. I really appreciate your presentation. I will tell you, I hear different presentations in most of my job, but this really connected with me in a different way. And so I appreciate the presentation. What I really do appreciate too is you leading off with your story, your journey, and sharing that with us, and just kind of let us into the passion behind what you are doing. One of the things I was trying to connect with here is, are you seeking sponsorship or grant support? I wasn't connecting the dots there, or was this more informational, and maybe figuring out how that point becomes clearer, if that is what you are seeking.
Right, yes, yes and yes. And again, my apologies for scrambling. I was anticipating practicing everything, and then I got the email, thank God, it just popped up, and I'm like, oh, let me get on. So yes, I am looking to provide information about what my preschool program is, what our intentions are, and also seeking support. So any type of funding, grant funding, investments. All Creation was actually in the midst of allocating a building, but then the COVID shelter COVID-19 shelter in place happened and things sort of came to a halt. And at this point, it's stagnant. So anything to support, and whether it be advocacy or whether it be connections or any type of information that would be helpful towards opening the doors of all creation would be greatly appreciated.
I would share this with you. So Chance, someone it said to me many times, one of my indirect mentors, that chance favors the prepared mind. And I think what you are working on right now is ideal for this time, especially when we're thinking about equity. I know my company, as well as several other companies, are thinking about what does our corporate citizenship look like now,
Right.
where we are today. And not just about our internal investments, but what do those external investments look like? I know we have a set of giving priorities, but we're reimagining those giving priorities and thinking about where we need to be more integrated into the community early on, to support building and sustaining those healthy communities, because we know that that is so vital to our business in so many different ways. We provide electric power to most of Southern California. It's an essential service. And so, you know, what we do to support the communities around us is so important. So just want to share that with you. Feel free to connect with me. I think I can facilitate some connections for you to broaden your network of getting awareness out about what you're working on.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Terrence. Thanks for that great feedback. Lorinda, what would you like to add?
So Michaela, thank you. I know you were thrown a little bit by timing, but you know, just know you will get more comfortable with presenting as you continue through this journey and go towards the next steps. I had a little disconnect or maybe confusion in how the early education program would be rolled out. Were you specifically looking to start your own center as far as, you know, you mentioned a building, or would you see this potentially as a program that you could take into existing early childhood development centers?
That's a great question. I have thought about implementing consulting, going into consulting at first. I've also thought about opening a home daycare within the community, especially given the shelter in place. Having a fewer amount of students, that would actually be more beneficial at this time than operating a center-based program. It would actually be a lot more cost effective as well.
Yeah.
So that is something to keep in mind.
Right. I think it would be a great opportunity, right? And I'm not thinking about like those chain daycares, but what about those one-offs in the local communities where they do need some type of program, help or assistance to deal with their day-to-day curriculum? I think it would definitely be something you should look into. But other than that, like I said, you'll become more comfortable as you speak to more people and ask for more assistance and help and investment. So great job. And I wish you nothing but the best of luck. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that, Lorinda. Appreciate your feedback. Lisa, anything to close out our second round of the day?
Hi, Michaela. And I know what it must feel like when you're thrown off your game and you were probably trying to race through and complete your presentation. I'm sure as a result of the time crunch, you didn't see some of the typos. So I was reading some things and I'm like, oh, wait. So just make sure you always do the spell check and things like that. There was a few mistakes in there. But beyond that, what was the original intent of your company? What problem were you trying to solve, or what would feel like you succeeded, at least in the first juncture of the business? I wasn't really exactly clear on your objective in near term.
Excellent question. I embarked upon this journey because I, in my previous experience, worked with children and families who weren't really being served in the program that I was actually a part of, the administration. And when I saw that the things that I would try to facilitate and try to advocate for was not really received as important as, of course, the financial piece and as well as other focus areas. And it just, for me, didn't sit well as this. I've seen it time and time again where early childhood education programs are not really suited to students who might have a second language or who might have different family structures. I've worked with children who've had court cases, and there's a lot of sensitivity around that. And also with, as I mentioned, LGBTQI awareness and sensitivity to that as well. So given the different family structures and the different needs, I felt that it was important to really revolutionize the way that programs operate within the community and be inclusive and not just welcome everyone, but embrace everyone.
It sounds like then you could go in a couple different directions, right? You can have the brick and mortar, care facility, or and you're in a perfect location. I'm in the Bay Area as well, so I mean we're a diverse community of of everyone here, right? We're a highly diverse area, so it's like you could either do brick and mortar, and or you can try to create some sort of consulting type business to try to make those impacts and lead from that direction. It seems like the consultancy would be easier in a lot of ways. However, in the state of COVID, there might be a lot of money available to you that you can capture to get your business going in another different direction. So it sounds like you're still in the formulation space still, but I would encourage you to, try to take something that is existing and how do you just innovate it? How do you amplify it? How do you make it more meaningful? And I think we're in a perfect storm now with all the injustices that are existing out there in our community that are bringing to light. Therefore, it's becoming a big conversation in all different directions throughout the United States and of course, the world. So that would be my only feedback is decide which lane and try to find the lower barriers to entry and how you can disrupt what's going on in the market that's very traditional, and how do you step it up a little with this whole inclusive nature that's probably not a conversation that they have at that, at that level. But so I could see where there will be a lot of value in that, and bringing your education and bringing your background. And, you check so many different boxes, Michaela, that you qualified, that you could relate to so many different groups and put together a message and a program to highlight the sensitivity and how do we operate in this new environment and how did we become more inclusive, et cetera, et cetera. So good job and great beginning. And you pulled it off, regardless of the time. Thank you.
Thank you.
You did. Thank you so much for that, Lisa. Michaela, thank you so much for your great presentation. We were so glad to have you today. I know that the time was confusing, so I'm really glad that you were able to join us and that we were able to see you here on your journey. It's truly phenomenal. So thank you so much again for being here. We're so glad to have you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for your feedback.
Of course. And yes, a round of virtual applause for you. You did a great job. So with that, that concludes our final presentation for today's Sip and Pitch program. Judges, before we move over to Community and Conversation Hour, any final thoughts or insights you'd like to share with our group? Feel free to jump in.
Hi, Sabrina. So I will just say this was fantastic. I truly enjoyed this. If you need a judge ever again, just let me know. I'm around. I enjoyed the fact too that I got to interact and hear from businesses that I don't normally get to connect with in my day-to-day operations. So just gives you a different perspective. And I truly loved hearing your stories, your progress so far, what you're trying to achieve. And I wish you all, like I said, the best of luck as you continue to develop and become stronger business leaders within each of your communities. So wonderful job, NGLCC. I love these, and I'm happy to hear that they will continue. I think things like this really help during these times of COVID, that we all stay connected and we can see each other's beautiful faces and just be around each other to provide that comfort and that conversation. And pretty soon, a glass of wine. Right now I'm drinking water, but I will be moving to wine very shortly.
Thank you, Lorinda. Yeah, no, you are welcome back anytime. We were so glad to have you here.
Thank you.
Lisa, anything else you want to add?
No, I thought everyone did a really good job. I mean, 5 minutes is not a long time, but I think it really helps you guys hone in your getting to the point. Everyone lacks time. Get to your message, get to your value proposition, be clear, concise, and you focus on what makes your competitive advantage and why, you know, anyone needs to talk to you. And when you're, I mean, I've been dealing with virtual environment, bosses have been remote for years for me. So it's a skill to have to hone in on. You know, we're probably going to be in this for a while, that we're not going to be able to be face to face with folks. So the clear and concise and compelling and numerically driven messaging that you can do, I think will really help you along in grabbing the attention of whatever that said person is. So I think if you keep that in mind, there's no stopping any of you, because you all did a great job today. Thanks so much for the time.
Thank you, Lisa, and thank you so much for sharing that with us and dropping all of your wisdom on the group today. I know it's appreciated. Terrence?
I agree with all the comments. This has been really, really great. I enjoyed all the presentations. And I look forward to doing this again. Michaela, I'm on the West Coast like you, so I'm a little jealous that Lorinda and some of the others will be enjoying some wine. What I'm going to be enjoying is my next meeting that starts at 2 p.m. Pacific time. So I can't start the drinking of wine just yet, but be sure that I will have my glass later. So NGLCC, thank you. Thank you for all that you do to advocate and champion for LGBT-owned firms, again, creating these types of platforms, and for the partnership. You have been an amazing partner to our organization, and we just look forward to continuing to grow that and making magic and things happen for LGBT-owned businesses. So thank you all. Really enjoyed it. Wish I could stay for the final hour, but other duties call.
Well, Terrence, thank you so much. And thank you to Southern California Edison for being today's presenting partner and a steadfast partner to NGLCC for many, many years. We so deeply appreciate it. And thank you for the insights you shared. I will drink a beer on your behalf, so don't worry about that. I've got you covered. Folks, there's actually a brief survey in the chat here. If you have to drop off before we move into community and conversation like Terrence, and we hope you don't have to drop off, but if you do, we would really appreciate your feedback. Jonathan's dropped that there in the chat box just to see what you think about this program and how we've been doing. Another important thing that I want to call out, July 29th, we're going to have the amazing Casey Oakes, who is a supplier diversity consultant, as well as Anjanetta Friesen from Barilla and the supplier diversity team there. They're going to team up for an amazing webinar as part of the NGLCC Webinar Wednesday series called So You Think You Can Pitch. So if you think you're getting some great insight and wisdom dropped on you here, stay tuned, because July 29th, we're going to have an awesome program that will allow you to take that knowledge into future NGLCC Sip and Pitch programs, as well as eventually when we can all meet again at our conference, the 2021 NGLCC International Business and Leadership Conference, and our LGBT Biz Pitch competition, which is our live version of Shark Tank for certified LGBT business enterprises through NGLCC. So lots more to come as it relates to the pitching world at NGLCC. Thank you again to Southern California Edison, our incredible partner for today's program, to Terrence, Lorinda, and Lisa. Thank you for being our judges today. To our incredible presenters, thank you for having the courage and bravery to be here. You have some amazing products and services, and we are so glad to be able to learn more about those. Make sure that you go and pour yourself a drink or a coffee or a tea, whatever suits you best. We'll be back here in about 5 minutes for community and conversation. Thanks, everyone.
Good afternoon and welcome back to NGLCC's LGBT Sip and Pitch Fridays. We are now moving into our community and conversation section. So thank you for those who are joining us and have stayed with us all day. A quick housekeeping reminder that we are streaming on Facebook Live. Hi, everybody. And we'll be recording and sharing this segment on our NGLCC blog. As always, reach out to us at education@nglcc.org to learn more about Sip and Pitch and how to get involved with all of our great education and training programs. So to kick us off into community conversation, once again, NGLCC SVP Sabrina Kent.
Thank you so much, Jonathan. Welcome back to everybody that's been with us in our first and second rounds of NGLCC LGBT Sip and Pitch Fridays. And welcome to those who have just joined. If you're tuning in via Facebook Live, we're moving into a fun community and conversation dialogue. So I encourage you to go to nglcc.org/sipandpitch so you can join us via Zoom to be a part of these breakout conversations that we're going to have. Before we jump into that, if you could please take a look at your little image icon here on Zoom. If you hover over with your mouse, there's going to be 3 dots. If you click those 3 dots, there should be an option that little blue square with 3 dots. There should be an option that says rename. If you can go in there, make sure, one, that you have the name that you go by, as well as your pronouns, so that we can make sure that everybody is addressing folks appropriately with their pronouns to make this a more inclusive environment as we move in to community and conversation. So we have some awesome Team NGLCCers with us today to help facilitate our community and conversation presented by Southern California Edison. Sean, Greg, Lauren, are you in the house?
Yes.
Hi, everyone.
Hello,
Sean?
everyone.
Sean came through a little
Can you hear me?
robotic. Yeah, we can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Now
Sorry, I've been having Wi-Fi
loud and
issues.
clear. You're all good, all good. We're glad to have you here, Team NGLCC. We're going to be breaking out into small discussion groups. We had so much fun last time we did this. It's an amazing way to stay connected. Hopefully you got your drink and you're ready to go. I've got mine. Maybe you've got coffee, tea, water, whatever suits you best for a little community and conversation. Jonathan's going to share with us the first prompt for today's discussion. Today we are, thank you, Jonathan. So we've actually launched at NGLCC an LGBT Biz Votes campaign, recognizing that at least 1 in 5 LGBTQ Americans are not registered to vote, nor have they ever voted. So your team's goal is to come up with a catchphrase or tagline about why voting matters to the LGBT business community. Jonathan's going to show you one of our graphics here that is part of the campaign. This is our register to vote look. And there's another one on the following slide that's actually co-branded. So if you're a member or leader of an affiliate chamber and you'd like to have a co-branded imagery for your chamber as well, reach out to media@nglcc.org. Jonathan's going to put that up here on the screen for you, so you know who to contact if you're an affiliate chamber leader and you'd like to share that with your network. And a huge shout out to Kevin Hurd at the Detroit Regional Chamber for being one of the first in the NGLCC affiliate family to request co-branded slides. So Jonathan, show us the next slide where folks can reach out to the media team.
There we are.
There we go. So you can contact media@nglcc.org for a co-branded Get Out the Vote campaign for your chamber. And with that, I'm going to repeat the prompt one more time. NGLCC's launched an essential LGBT Biz Votes campaign, recognizing that at least 1 in 5 LGBTQ Americans are not registered and have never voted. So your group is going to come up with a catchphrase or tagline about why voting matters to the LGBT business community. You're going to have Team NGLCCers in your group, and the person who is most recently certified with NGLCC in your group is going to be the spokesperson. So we will pump this into the chat here with you one more time so that you can remember that amazing prompt when we move into these breakouts. There you go. Jonathan's going to send us over into our breakouts. We're going to have about 15 minutes, and we'll see you back here with your catchphrase.
All right, get ready, everybody. Here we go.
I think my group's got it.
Welcome.
Speak for yourself, Lauren. My group.
We have a trick up our sleeve.
Nice.
But next time, Sabrina, we need to have waivers signed so people don't try to sue us for these slogans.
Yes.
I gave you my best stuff, and now it's just going to be public record.
All right, I think we are all back, Sabrina.
I love it. Well, I mean,
I do.
I think
Sabrina, I hate to interrupt. I have my group won. I can already tell you. But I have to go in 7 minutes. But we have something we want to share with you guys. So is it okay if we go first, my group?
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say save the best group for last, which is mine. So go for it.
Okay. Can I share my screen so we can? Can I share?
Oh, I like that idea. Yeah, let's be able to share screens. We could put it like a big banner that way if we want to. I can do that real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, feel free to share screen.
Here we go. You cannot start screen share with while other participant is sharing. Oh, I
One second. Got to give you the permissions. I'm trying to find you in the chat. Here we go. All right.
Thanks, Sabrina. I didn't mean to be so pushy.
There you go. Go for it.
We went to all this work, and I just don't want to miss it. So. Are you guys?
I like that.
Oh, that's fun.
We had a very creative team.
I love it. Lauren, is this your group?
It is my group, yeah.
Wow, okay, I like it.
Very good.
Someone's got to, since I have to go, somebody's got to report back to me and let me know if we won or not after all this.
Everybody's a winner on Sip and Pitch Fridays, so we'll go there.
Yes.
Right. Okay, I'll stop sharing. So thank you for that.
Great job.
Thank you for that.
Thanks.
Who else wants to go? Sean, is your group up?
Sure.
Yeah, we got Michaela that's going to speak for us.
Yes, so we came up with some pretty funny catchphrases. The one that took the cake was, "The first time is always awkward." So the quote.
Sean, this would be your group.
And you think COVID-19? Go vote.
Nice.
Wait, can you repeat that? I didn't hear all of it.
Actually, the first one had a second part to it.
Yeah, the first one was the first time is always awkward. It gets better. Go vote.
Or it gets easier. Go vote.
And the second one is, you think COVID-19 is bad? Go vote.
Amazing. Very good. Very, very good. Greg, what about you? What's your group have to say?
Let's talk about this one.
All right, so that's me. And our slogan is louder together, your business is our business. And we came up with this because we love the play on words. We feel like being loud at this time is more important now more than ever. And we wanted to tie in the business component. So that's why the "your business is our business" is our tagline, but certainly the hashtag louder together. Luckily we had Norel, the social media guru and branding guru from the earlier round in our group. So she recommended a great hashtag that's quick and catchy and short would be best. So the hashtag louder together. And then the follow-up line, your business is our business.
Well, also, we had a funny RGB one. Should we say that for the sake of saying it? What do you think?
Yes, always with RGB.
So the RGB line is louder together because RGB shouldn't have to work another 4 years.
That is amazing. And just, can we all take a moment to send good vibes her way for her liver cancer? We are with you, RBG. We love you. That was great. Good job, Greg. I guess I'll throw a couple kudos your way, even though it's all the brilliant minds in your group that really made it happen.
You're correct on that.
For those who know Greg and me, that's all just real deep love between the two of us. All right, Brian, you're the rep for our group. Take it away.
Actually, Brian, I would talk.
Milo's going to do it for us.
Yeah, because I got it set up. My world's fastest graphic design. By the way, when you said RGB, I thought, what part of the LGBT thing? And what? Oh, RGB. Got it. Okay, let me do a screen share here, and this is where we went with this combination or some part of it. Thought that was playful.
Vote. You voted. That's so gay.
Put a positive spin on that way, or as a combination together.
Yeah, we decided to take the approach of both the tagline and the catchphrase. So there we go. We just weren't 100% sure about the "that's so gay" part, but we thought we'd market to our community just a little bit. That's awesome. We had so much fun in our group. It sounds like y'all did too. We have one more discussion for everybody. Jonathan's going to pull that up onto the screen.
Give me a sec here.
Yeah,
there we go.
thank you.
All right.
So as I mentioned at the end of round 2 on July 29th, we've got an awesome Webinar Wednesdays program coming up called So You Think You Can Pitch. So as a group, come up with 1 to 2 questions that can be shared with the supplier diversity experts sitting on this panel. So I know that y'all have a lot of burning questions. I saw a bunch of them in the chat today. So I know that you're going to have questions to share for our judges that we can incorporate into that Webinar Wednesdays program to make sure that you're getting the most out of it. And then the most important part is, of course, you have to show up at 2 p.m. Eastern on the 29th so that you can hear what our amazing experts have to say. One of them was here with us today, Casey Oakes. And bye, Paul. Thanks for being here. One of them was Casey Oakes, a supplier diversity consultant. He's worked with Marriott. He's worked with BMS. He also actually used to lead corporate relations at NGLCC as well. And then we have the wonderful and lovely Anjanetta Friesen from Barilla, who is also going to be on that panel. So again, your group is going to come up with 1 to 2 questions that can be shared with the supplier diversity experts that are going to be sitting on that panel. So with that, Jonathan is going to take us away for another 15.
Who takes charge of the groups?
Oh, great question. The person that has been acquainted with the NGLCC the longest is going to be the facilitator for your group.
Awesome. All right, we're going to hit the button in just a second. In case, these should be randomized, in case you have a lot of folks in your room who, in the course of randomizing, ended up back together again, you can exit the room and I'll reassign you to a different run. But we should be ready to go. Everyone have a great time. We'll see you in 15 minutes.
Thank you.
Welcome back, everybody.
Oops, I forgot that I'm the one speaking for my group. So I was going to tell one of them that I'll send them the questions, but I have been acquainted with NGLCC the longest. So there we go. I didn't think it was supposed to count for me.
Well, welcome back, everybody. I think we are all out of the rooms. Okay, take it away.
Awesome. All right, Lauren, you were pretty proud of your team last time. What you got for us this time?
Christine is going to take it away for our group.
We were the longest, Tutology was the longest affiliated with NGLCC, so I get to be a speaker. We actually had 5 questions. Do you want us to just do 2 or do you want us to do all 5?
We will try and capture all 5. Go.
Okay, here we go. How long should somebody wait after sending a capabilities deck or initiating a conversation with a company in order to follow up, and what is an appropriate means of follow-up, like an appropriate timeline after making contact? Question 1. Question 2, what are United States companies expecting from businesses who are abroad looking to do business in the US in terms of confidence and what to provide, anything different than US to US? Third question, what are the supplier diversity people looking for in a pitch? Like, what makes a good pitch? What kind of tone should they set? Should they be aggressive? Should they be natural, flow, organic? Question 4, what would be the best way to contact a supplier diversity person or even somebody in the company? Do we need to go through the supplier diversity people, or can it be somebody in the department directly that they want to work with or work for in that department? And how assertive does somebody need to be? What's the proper protocol? And then a simple question, but a good one, what should we bring to a pitch? Lauren,
I love it.
Did we get it all?
Yeah, I'm getting my word count in here from those high school days, you know, when they're like, all you're ever gonna need to do is type and copy Word documents. I've got this. Okay, so how long should somebody wait after sending a capabilities deck or initiating a convo to follow up? What is an appropriate means of follow-up / timeline? What are U.S. companies expecting from businesses who are abroad looking to do business in the U.S. in terms of competencies, what to provide, etc.? What are the supplier diversity people looking for in a pitch? What makes a good pitch? Tone, flow, blah, blah, blah. What would be the best way to contact a supplier diversity person or someone in the company or department directly? How assertive should someone be? And what's the proper protocol? And then what should we bring to a pitch? Great.
Wow. Listen to you.
She tries. She tries. I love it. Well, those are awesome questions. Thank you so, so much. And as Jonathan said, we're going to share all of these questions in our post-event wrap-out on our NGLCC blog, so you too can revisit them, and then you can hold us accountable to make sure that questions make it into the Webinar Wednesdays program on July 29th. Greg, what does your group have to say? Who's your designee?
Well, we're going to hold you accountable for sure, but we're going to have Milo mention some of the questions that we have.
Yes,
Milo?
and to make Sabrina's life easier, we're going to paste everything into the chat session so she doesn't have to write at the speed of light. So I'll read them and then I'll paste them. The first two are related, but different enough. What can we do to get traction with your company outside of using the portals? The portals just, it feels like a dead end after it's done. And in conjunction with that, what can we do when there's an absence of an RFP? A lot of companies, they're never going to RFP what we do because they don't know this is out there, so they're not looking for it. Third question, with moving into a more virtual world in light of this year's events, what do you plan or what would you like to do to connect more with diverse suppliers? We don't have to be at a conference all sitting around a table, and it doesn't have to be once a year to make that happen. And the last one was, how often and how do you make recommendations to your colleagues to use the diverse suppliers? Do you periodically just like say, here's a few new ones, or as ideas come to you, do you approach them? How does it work for you?
I love it. And believe it or not, I actually copied those down as well.
Wow.
Those are all great questions. And thank you so much for copying them into the chat so that everybody else can see them as well. Sean, what do you have? What does your group say?
So we didn't get around to, I think I had asked Jose, but I think I remember the questions. Before I go there though, I wanted to kind of chime in on one of the questions that the previous group had about when you don't have, when asked, being a manager of the engagement center where I get the RFP request, when I do searches within our database, it's keywords that I search based on what they've asked. So if you, and I suggest this to every supplier, go into your profile and add as many keywords about your business as possible. I'm getting a lot of requests from corporates wanting to know about who does virtual meetings. And if I put in virtual meeting in the keywords and all the events people that we have, nobody comes up. So this basic words like, you know, when stuff comes out, you pop up on my list and I can reach out to you to see if and verify if this is part of your business. So sorry about that.
That's great. Don't be sorry at all. I think it's so, so important. And I know Sean was breaking up a little bit, so I just want to repeat what he said to make sure that everybody heard that. As a certified supplier of the NGLCC, you have a profile on my.nglcc.org. If you are not keeping your capabilities up to date and your keywords up to date, you are going to be missed for opportunities that your company could support. We get RFPs, multiple RFP requests daily from our corporate partners to Sean's team, the Engagement Center. And if you don't have an up-to-date profile, you might be missing out on opportunity for your business. So thank you so much for adding that, Sean. And who from your group is going to share some questions?
I can do that. And I would just like to say that I'm not always talking to Sean, but I'm a power user. Which, Sean, if you have access to who's in the database and searching, then you know that I'm a power user. So I concur. You need to put every keyword in there because everybody's brain works differently. So temp labor could be contract, it could be employment, it could be all different types of keywords. And every buyer is going to think differently and they're going to ask differently. So it's all got to be there. So our two questions were, how do you make a connection virtually now that we're no longer meeting face-to-face? So again, you know, whether it's a pitch, whether you're with a buyer, or whether it is going to be a virtual type trade show with matchmakers or trade show booths, how do you make that connection? So that would be really good to hear their response to that. And then secondly, we want to know the most memorable kind of a moment that they've heard in a pitch. Because obviously they can't share too much about it because that would say who was doing the pitch, but whether it's good or bad, you know, what are those aha moments, those takeaways, the most memorable thing that you've ever heard in a pitch?
I love that. Thank you so much, Deborah. So again, we have, how do you make a connection virtually now that we're no longer meeting face-to-face? And two, what's the most memorable moment you've heard in a pitch? I love that because that can really help folks understand what they need to differentiate themselves and stand out. So great, great question. Super thoughtful. No surprise from Sean's group. And if Deborah was in there, just.
Right.
I can pick myself.
The memorable moment can be good or bad.
We actually had a lot of other things. I just didn't report them because we were just sharing them amongst ourselves. So it's shame on us really, because we probably would have had about 5 more things to share.
Well, if anyone that was in those groups has questions that they would like us to consider for that program, email webinars@nglcc.org to make sure those questions can be included. We're going to get to, there's a lot of great questions here, so I'm going to try and combine some if I can, but get as many as I can to our presenters, our panelists on July 29th for this program. So again, I was nominated from my group to share questions. So don't be too hard and don't hate on the messenger here. So the first is in the time frame of a 2-minute pitch versus a 5-minute pitch, what kind of information do you want to know? What's the most important thing for you to know about a supplier and their company? So that was one sort of question. And then the second question is, what is the best way to get your attention after you've spoken to 100 suppliers in a day, which I think is really important. And Deborah, maybe that's something, not to put you on the spot, that you could speak to right now. I gave some of my advice to the folks in my group, but I would love what you'd have to say. What's the best way to get your attention after you've spoken to 100 suppliers in a day? And for those who don't know, Deborah is supplier diversity manager at Kellogg and has been a thriving member of the NGLC family in this industry for a long time. So she has great insights here.
For me personally, it really is the person who's kind of plugged in, who has said something like I once had, and I still recall, I think it was about 5 years ago at one of the matchmakers at NGLCC, and I had a guy that just pulled out a granola bar, and it turned out that he had done one of the first campaigns for power bars, and no one was buying them years ago. Nobody knew what they were. They were dry. They weren't like a cookie. They weren't right. And he put together the campaign to sell them to people who did long distance biking because they were perfect. They're light, you know, they go through all kinds of climate conditions. You can take them out of your backpack and eat them while you're biking. And he put together a campaign and actually took them to market that way. And so there again, that resonated with me because we make, obviously, bars, right? And it was like, aha. So I think it becomes very much practical. What kind of information can you use? The better you represent what you do, the easier it is for me to go back and pitch it internally. Because if I'm going to meet with 5 suppliers that are in your space, you're absolutely correct. Probably all 5 of them are not, my team is not going to meet with all 5. So it's really going to be contingent upon me to say this is a really high potential supplier, and these are the reasons why I think we should listen to them. So give me the reason and enough information so that I can represent you.
Deborah, I think that's such great feedback, and this was something I shared in our group, that the supplier diversity professional they're meeting is not the person that's going to award that contract to them, but they're the foot in the door to get to that company. And I think in particular, there's something else to say here based on what you just said, which is there's 2 layers of pitching, right? There's your pitch as the supplier, and then there's the supplier diversity person's pitch on your behalf.
Yeah.
So if you can't be concise, and if that supplier diversity person doesn't know what you do and doesn't understand your best in class, to borrow from our judge's advice earlier in the program, your best in class opportunity to fulfill that need, they can't go back and pitch on your behalf. So I think that's really, really sound advice and hopefully helpful to those that are watching right now.
Lorinda, how would you answer that question? You have the look like, put me in, coach. I'm ready to play.
I know it's funny, Deborah, because we were talking about this, right, in the breakout session with Sean. So I agree with you 100%, right? You know, for me, I am that first step. I am vetting you. And, you know, I receive numerous phone calls and emails every day. And I have to go through those and see kind of who do I really want to reach out to. And it's based off of the material you've sent me and maybe any connections we've had, and it could have just been running into you at a conference or, you know, being on a Zoom call like this. So, you know, you've got to differentiate yourself. You've got to stand out, because like you said, there could be 5 contingent staffing companies that come to me. Chances are I can only present one of those to the manager of that team, and she already has a full slate, right? So if anything, I'm just trying to get that introduction in case someone's not doing their job and we have someone that we can, you know, step in or fill that place. So I agree with you 100%. You come with your A game, and again, show me what I need to know. We were also talking about before, I have a specific background in certain things as far as procurement. There may be areas that I'm not as familiar with. If you truly want to do business with ADP, you help me understand how you could fit or potentially work with that potential business or stakeholder, and give me some guidance as how I should move forward to reaching out to them and providing the information and detail about your company and what you specifically do.
I was on mute. That's amazing. Lorinda, thank you for that advice. And Russ put it in the chat, and I couldn't agree more. Thank you for staying on for all 3 hours and just sharing your wisdom and your thoughts with us. It's been so enlightening and helpful to have you all here with us. Deborah, as always, thank you so much for being put on the spot and okay with it and ready to share and support NGLCC and our suppliers. And to each and every one of you who are here, y'all stuck around for community and conversation, we're so glad to be able to spend this time with you. Thank you again to our fabulous presenters from today's program: Flipstick, Brightwork Consulting, All Creations, Social House Inc., Rex Wild, and Pilot House Comms. There we go. Look, she remembered all of them. Wow, folks, it's amazing. On a Friday, no less, at 6 p.m. Remember, everybody, we are here twice a month on Fridays for NGLCC LGBT Sip and Pitch Fridays, 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern. Our next program is Friday, July 31st. We appreciate all of you so, so much. Jonathan's going to drop the feedback form into the chat here. Again, we so appreciate your feedback as we continue to enhance and develop this program. You all are so amazing. You're our inspo, and you allow us to do this. So we wouldn't do it if you couldn't be here with us. So thank you, thank you, thank you for that. Don't forget to tune in to NGLCC Webinar Wednesdays. Next week, we're taking a little break so that you can take that time to actually review all of the amazing content that we've had in past weeks on Webinar Wednesdays, in our communities of color town halls, in Sip and Pitch Fridays. So make sure that you take the opportunity to check out the NGLCC YouTube page so that you are able to catch up on all of the amazing programs that we've shared. And of course, we will be back here on July 31st. And before that, July 29th, 2 p.m. Eastern time, Webinar Wednesdays, So You Think You Can Pitch. And I know you'll be there because you want to hear your questions answered. So with that, feel free to email us at education@nglcc.org if you have any questions, webinars@nglcc.org if you have questions you want to contribute to an upcoming program. And again, we appreciate each and every single one of you. We'll see you back next time, and have a great weekend. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Take care.